associated with the eagle. The Lamb, Martin Luther King, born January 15, 1929, is very important, very significant. I read to you in the book of Ezekiel, the first chapter and the first verse. It gives us a month, April the 4th, the fourth month, the fifth day. Fourth month, fifth day. Well, the sign 44, 144, 44 is at the root of April the 4th. It's a date, April the 4th. And the month is given, fourth month, fifth day, in the book of Ezekiel, as it talks about the four living creatures. And so Martin Luther King's death and the circumstances of his death in Memphis, Tennessee, on April the 4th, 1968, crucified at the Lorraine Hotel, was also preordained and predestined. When you add Martin Luther King's birth date, he was born in 1929, and you add 929 plus 115, January 15th, it will equal 1044. And 144 is the measure of the man. The measure of the man, the angel. And so this is very significant because now, look in the book of Luke, 1929. In the book of Luke, 1929, is Jesus standing on Mount of Olives. And this agrees with Martin Luther King's speech in that on April the 3rd, the day before he died, he made what is known as his mountaintop speech. And he said that he had, in his vision, been to the mountaintop, looked over and saw the promised land. He said, I may not get there with you. Martin Luther King was born in the year 1929. When you turn to the book of Luke, 1929, Jesus is on the Mount of Olives. And the Mount of Olives is something that you have to understand. When you say Mount of Olives, you're talking about Mount Zion, Jerusalem. And so it is in Dr. King's speech, last speech on April the 3rd, his mountaintop speech. And that promised land has to do with Israel, Mount Zion. And as you will see in the following speech and recall the passion and power that came from Martin Luther King in his message. Please take a look at the footage.
A long life, longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
And now you understand that he did not die physically, but there is a resurrection taking place of the Spirit. There's a resurrection taking place of Malcolm X. There's a resurrection taking place of Martin Luther King. And now let's go to the third living creature on the cross, which is going to be revealed to you. 1929, Martin Luther King died at the same age as Malcolm X, 39. The measurement of Martin Luther King, 144 or 441, 4 and 4, April the 4th. May 19th, the ox, the Taurus, Malcolm X, Big Red, died at the age of 39 in the lands of the captivity, where the young eagles sucked the blood of the slain, as I read to you in the book of Job 39 and 30. In the book of Job 39 and 30. In the book of Job, 39th chapter, 30th verse, divided in half, 1965. 1965 gives you the birth year of the death year of Malcolm X, 1965, February 21. And as I said before, calendar dates are extremely significant, and the date, February 20th, is recorded in the book of Numbers, the 10th chapter and the 11th verse. The 10th chapter and the 11th verse. So now that we have our reading glasses on, you're going to find that the dates of the 4 living creatures have been recorded, pre-recorded, and set in motion since the foundation of the world. And it's telling us of a story that's transpiring right now in the course of human theater. This leaves us with the right side of the cross. The right side of the cross. The lion, it says 40. Lion, 40. And this is in representation of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who died in the year of 1940. And so it is. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the right side of the cross, is an essential part of telling this most important story. I had the fortune of meeting the granddaughter of Marcus Garvey, who gave me this tam representing the colors of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, established by Marcus Garvey. As you see, blood for the people, black, the people, and green, meaning the land. Marcus Garvey, the UNIA organization, Pan-African organization, which sought to repatriate millions of Africans from the diaspora to Africa, in the Back to Africa movement. He had essentially established an organization that had prepared for the return of Africans from the diaspora back to Africa. Marcus Garvey, on the right side of the cross, he died in the year 1940. It's essential for you to understand this most important figure in the course of human history, but within the African experience. And on the right side of the cross, we turn to the book of Psalms, 77, 10. The book of Psalms, 77 and 10. In a number of instances, biblically, it speaks of lie on the right side of the cross, 40. And it also speaks of sit on my right hand while I make thy enemies thy footstool. This is a text that's repeated throughout the gospel, but found in Psalms 110 and 1. Lie, it says specifically, sit on my right side while I make thy enemies thy footstool. We turn now to Psalm 77 and 10. And I said, this is my infirmity. I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. And so we are to remember the right side of the cross. The right hand of the Most High is located on the right side of the cross. It's in reference to Marcus Garvey. And how can we prove that this is Marcus Garvey? Well, a bit of mathematics and numbers. We pose just a simple question. Who is on the right side of the cross? Psalm 77 and 10. Who was on the right side of the cross? Marcus